Welcome back to SPK English Academy. In today's class, we will discuss Romantic Ace, the poet John Keats and S.T. Coleridge, and their life and their literary career. So, these two poets, John Keats and S.T. Coleridge, are great poets of this Romantic Ace. They gave their own contribution to this ace. See, John Keats was born in 1795, first romantic poet who died early. He was suffering he was suffering from TB, tuberculosis. His poetic career lasted just for 5 years. So within those 5 years, his literary career, he gave a lot of contribution to English literature. For Keats, beauty has existed in the past and disappeared in the present. We find the Hellenic elements in Keats's poetry. He lost his father when he was only 9-year-old boy. Keats was introduced Leigh Hunt, Hazlitt, Haddon, Shelley, and Godwin. Keats was greatly influenced by Spenser's The Faerie Queene. It is Spenser's epic. It is considered as works of John Keats. So in 1888 appeared his Endymion, which was mercilessly criticized by the Quarterly Review and Blackwood's magazine. He had violent passion for Fanny Baunet, his devotee. He died in 1821 at the age of 25 at Rome. He was buried in the Protestant cemetery at Rome, and on his tomb is the inscription made by himself. Here lies one whose name was written in water. In his last days, he wrote sonnets. So, especially, we heard one quotation: beauty is truth, and truth beauty. This appears in his poem, that is Ode on Grecian Urn. But another one great quotation, that is a thing of beauty is a joy forever. But joy forever is appeared in his first poem, that is Endymion. Works of Jan Keats, then Endymion. It was published in 1818. This poem begins with the famous lines, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." Based on the Greek myth of Endymion, the poem is dedicated to Thomas Chatterton. See, 1819, this year, 1819 was the most productive year of Keats's literary career. So, this point was asked in the previous net question paper. Which was the most productive year of Keats's literary career? That is 1899. So words, especially in the romantic case, not only in romantic case and also in the history of English literature, this John Keats is popular for his odes. He wrote many odes. The first one, that is, he is the greatest ode writer in English literature. Ode to Melancholy. Second one, Ode to a Nightingale. This Ode to a Nightingale is very, very important ode of John Keats. It was published in 1819. Charles Browne, a friend of Keats, spoke about this poem. It is Keats' ode, the song of the nightingale is a symbol of art that outlasts moral life. Next one, four, to a psyche of indolence. And so these are other works. Lamia. See, Lamia is the story from the Greek Philostratus found in Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy. Lamia is a witch with serpent's head and woman's mouth. See, next work, Isabella or the Pot of Basil. The story is based on Boccaccio's Decameron. Isabella, lover is Lorenzo. Sixth one, The Ewe of Saint Agnes. This is also one of the main important poem of Keats. The heroine of the poem is Madeline and her lover is Parpepro. The poem is written in Spenserian stanza. You have to remember this point. The U of Saint Agnes is written in Spenserian stanza. See other work, Hyperin. It is in two versions that both poems are not completed. Both are written in Miltonic verse. Next work, that is the Bards of Passion and of Mirth, Posthumous and other poems. Keats and negative capability. So that negative capability is the concept or the praise kind by kind by that John Keats himself. So in a letter to his brother George and Thomas Keats on 21st December in 1817, Keats introduced the concept of negative capability. He describes the term as, or what does mean by negative capability, when a man is capable of being in uncertainties, mistrust and doubts without any irritable reaching after fact and reason. So that is negative capability according to John Keats. See, Keats believed that Shakespeare possessed the quality of negative capability. So we go to that Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Samuel Taylor Coleridge was born in 1772 and died in 1834. See, Coleridge was born in Ottore at Saint Devonshire in 1772. He was English poet and literary critic. Coleridge and Sude married to the same two sisters. See, Coleridge and Sude married to the same sisters. The first volume of poetry was Poems on Various Subjects. The first volumes of Samuel Taylor Coleridge is Poems on Various Subjects. See, he was the collaborative author with Wordsworth to the lyrical ballad, which was published in 1798. So this created lot of revolution at the beginning of that romantic age. So this is called as the fruit of romantic age. This work is written by both Coleridge and Wordsworth. This is a collaborative work of these two poets. You would also know that Wordsworth and Coleridge are also very close friends in their literary career. See, Sarah, wife of Coleridge, appeared in his poem Astra. He was the fellow of the Royal Society. See, works of S.T. Coleridge. See, first one work is Biographia Literaria. See, Biographia Literaria is one of the most important critical work of S.T. Coleridge. The subtitle of this work is The Sketches of My Literary Life and Opinions. So, this is the subtitle of Biographia Literaria text. So it contains his finest literary criticism. The whole literary criticism of S.T. Coleridge is lies in Biographia Literaria. So it is mainly important for fancy and imagination. See, fancy and imagination, these two concepts introduced to literary criticism by S.T. Coleridge. See, next work, that is Aids to Reflection, Church and State. The fourth one, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So you know that Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the longest poem written by S.T. Coleridge. It's very popular poem in the history of English literature. See, it is means the Rime of Ancient Mariner is Coleridge's most famous poem and one of the world's masterpiece. It was a part of the lyrical ballads which appeared in 1798. So it was also part of the lyrical ballads. So in this poem, the mariner commits sin by killing an innocent bird, albatross. See, this bird comes in the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Remember this point. So it is a true account of the life on the sea during the Coleridge's days. So next work is very important, Kubla Khan. So this is also one of the most important and popular poem in English poems in English literature. See, Kubla Khan is a fragment. Fragment is incomplete work. So he wrote it in an OPM mood. See, S.T. Coleridge wrote this Kubla Khan in an OPM mood or in an intoxicated mood. Coleridge composed the poem in a dream which he remembered and started writing as he woke up but was interrupted and forgot beyond what he had written, only 54 lines. The subtitle of the work or poem is A Vision in a Dream, a Fragment. So, this is the subtitle of Kubla Khan poem. Purchase's pilgrimage. The work described Janadu, the summer place of the Mughal ruler and emperor of China, Kubla Khan. See, Mughal ruler and emperor of China are Kubla Khan. And the next one, that is Christabel. Christabel is also very important poems of S.T. Coleridge. This is also a fragment. Here the heroine is Geraldine, who is a German woman who in fact is a pure young girl who has fallen under the spell of a sorcerer. Sorcerer. The seventh one, that is Ode on Dejection, Frost at Midnight, Fears in Solitude, Love Poems, Hymn Before Sunrise in the Ale of Chaumoni, Work Without Hope, Religious Musing, Lectures on Shakespeare. So these are other works of S.T. Coleridge. See, so this is a video about the Romantic Age great poets S.T. Coleridge and John Keats. So I think this video will help to you to know about S.T. Coleridge and John Keats. Thank you for watching my video.